Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Hey there, Sarah. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. Not too much. How about you?
I'm taking a big risk this time around, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with probably a drink that no broadcaster has ever used to keep their mouth moist during a radio show or a podcast.
Okay.
I have a big full glass of V8 strawberry banana juice.
Wow. Yeah, that is an unusual choice.
Yeah, a lot of people go with water.
Yeah, that's what I've got over here.
I just need this like pulpy, almost
It's kind of thick looking, almost like a smoothie.
A smoothie, right? I need this smoothie to keep my vocal cords nice and lubricated. Here, I'm gonna take a sip.
Okay.
See, that's how hard I have to work to swallow it.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so thick.
Okay, this could really make for an interesting podcast.
It might. So we are the Permanent Record Podcast.
We are indeed.
And we are back after
just a little break.
An exciting wrap up to the summer, I think. We were excited to talk about The Wedding Singer, and last week we talked about some concerts that we had seen.
Right. Yeah, and now today it's the first day of fall, so, we promised that at the end of the summer we were going to hit the books and get busy and work hard and get you some real stuff that you've been waiting for, and I guess that time has finally arrived.
It finally has, and we just barely hit the books. Like in some of our shows, particularly the Queen and the Bowie episodes, I had stacks of books here on the table with us. We have two books. We have the John Taylor book, and we have the 1001 albums you must hear before you die.
Yeah.
So technically we did hit the books.
Yeah, a couple of books, not stacks of books, but yeah. A lot of our stuff was online too. We got to keep with the times. That's the place that all the kids do their research now.
Kids don't go to the library anymore.
No,
kids don't know about the Dewey Decimal System.
No, they probably don't.
They don't have a library card.
Well, what are we going to talk about?
Well, Sarah, why don't we talk first about all the reviews that have come in on iTunes since our last episode?
Oh, that sounds great. How much time is that going to take up?
We're done.
Okay. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, that's okay. I mean, we do appreciate all the reviews and the ratings that we get, and we can't expect to get them every single time, right?
That's true. We were getting spoiled by all the nice people, the friends of the show who were taking the time to do it.
Yeah.
So
maybe
we didn't get any new reviews this time, folks, so we don't have to talk about that.
All right. Maybe after this one, we'll get some reviews.
Maybe. And we are almost done with the summer of sharing, the chance to win a individualized podcast, a personalized podcast for you specifically. We're going to go to the last day in September, and then we're going to do the drawing.
All right.
And if you recall, the way to get involved with that is to share the pinned post at the top of our Twitter or our Facebook. Just share that, and you'll be entered in the drawing to win this podcast.
That's right.
So we're going to have about, how many days are in September? 30 days?
30 days.
Half September.
Yeah.
So we have 8 more days, and then we will announce the winner on that.
Oh, I can't wait.
If you haven't yet shared either of those posts and you want a chance to get a podcast just for you, only one person is going to hear it, and that will be you.
Yep.
Go ahead and share the post. If you share it on Facebook, please comment below that you shared it.
Right. Yeah, that'll help us out so we know.
On Twitter, we don't need you to do that. We can see who retweets the tweet.
Yeah, you ought to start thinking about what you want us to talk about. You get to pick 2 songs that you want us to talk about, and any other questions that you might have for us, we'll try to answer them for you.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It's a big surprise.
I know. I'm anxious to get to the 30th so we can draw a winner.
Okay.
All right. So you want to do your song snippet at the end of the episode?
Yeah, let's put them in suspense for the end. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we don't forget about it.
Yeah, let's try to remember.
Oh, and don't forget, we did have a winner last week.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Yaz, Nobody's Diary.
Yep.
And we posted the winner on the social media.
I believe it was Nick Oswald.
Nick Oswald, indeed. So congrats to him. I think the show was only out for a few hours before he wrote in.
Yeah, he got it right away.
Yeah, so he's a technopop whiz.
I guess so.
I like that.
Yeah. Congratulations, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks for playing along with our little game. So we'll have another installment here at the end of this episode for you to show off your big brains. I'm going to take a little sip of strawberry banana.
Oh, boy.
All right, so about 3 months ago, I think we promised folks that we are getting ready to talk about Duran Duran Rio.
Yeah, we've been hyping this one up for quite some time.
And then we just never did it.
Nope.
But we have finally decided to take the plunge and to dive into the rich bounty that is this 1982 album.
That's right. We are ready to talk about it, finally.
Yeah, so let's do it. People love Duran Duran.
We do too.
People love Rio.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a great one to talk about.
The glides are moving, all looking for a new place to drive. You sit beside me, so newly charming, sweating.
So as you mentioned, this was the second album, or did you mention that? I'll mention it again if you didn't. This was the second album by Duran Duran. This was released in 1982 in the UK. It debuted on May 22nd, 1982, and it ended up going to number 2 pretty much right away. And it was on the chart for 110 weeks. That's a really long time. That's like 2 years.
That's pretty long, but it's nothing compared to the fact that I have written about the U.S. album chart.
All right. Well, tell me about that.
Well, I don't want to skip to it because there's a big, long story about the U.S. album chart, but I will tell you that in the U.S., it was on the top 200 album chart for 129 weeks.
Yeah, that's a little longer.
That is.
Yeah.
So kudos to the U.S. for being a big fan of Rio.
Well, I guess you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Eventually.
Yes, eventually. Yes, that's right. I don't have a lot of information about where it did in other countries. Strangely, this one, I don't have a lot of other countries listed. I have that it went to number 2 in Australia, number 3 in New Zealand, and number 9 in Sweden.
I have information that it says differently.
Oh, okay.
I say that it went to number 13 in Norway, number 9 in Sweden, number 6 in the U.S., number 3 in Australia.
Oh.
And number 2 in New Zealand and the UK.
Okay, so maybe I switched those.
I think you did.
Okay.
But you were close. In the U.S., at least, it went gold on March 1st, 1983. And then less than 2 months later, on April 26th, it went platinum for the first time.
Wow.
And
for the first time.
Yep. Ultimately, it went double platinum in the U.S.
Wow. That's really good.
Especially considering what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
How it
Talk
took
about
the
a
U.S.
slow burn.
Yeah. It took the U.S. a little while to hop on board this fast-moving train.
Yeah.
In the UK, the LP was released on the EMI label.
Right.
Here in America, the LP was released on Harvest Records.
Right. And that's a subdivision of Capitol Records, correct?
Right. Harvest was actually established in 1969 to release progressive rock albums like
Really?
Pink Floyd and Syd Barrett and that kind of thing.
Interesting.
And then by the end of the 70s, they kind of changed their mission statement and they ended up releasing some music by like Wire and Thomas Dolby's debut CD. Oh, Thomas Dolby. I love Thomas Dolby.
Oh, yeah.
And the Little River Band.
Oh, really?
Was on Harvest. Yep.
My goodness.
So they released the album in America, and that first release reportedly had kind of like some bad sound, some sound issues with it.
Yeah, I heard that it was kind of muddy and not real clear sounding.
So the few people that did buy it were kind of unhappy with that.
Yeah.
Because like we've been alluding to, Rio actually didn't perform all that well in the U.S. upon first release.
No.
So the band got the opportunity to work with a producer named David Kirschenbaum.
Yes.
And he remixed a bunch of songs on the album, 5, I think. Rio, Hold Back the Rain, My Own Way, Hungry Like the Wolf, and New Religion. Mm-hmm. And these new versions, these remixed versions, were kind of to make them more U.S. friendly, bring the guitar up in the mix a little bit, make the songs just sound kind of punchier.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to take that to mean.
Yeah.
And focus less on the band's new romantic sound.
Definitely.
And more on a dance floor, like a dance floor friendly tune.
Right.
Because at this point in time, the U.S. label is basically going to give up on the new romantic type of public image for Duran Duran. Because, truth be told, the new romantic thing was not nearly as big here in the U.S. as it was over in the U.K.
Not at all, no.
So the U.S. label says, that's not really a benefit for us here, so let's kind of market them towards the dance halls.
Right. And so they had done some things, Capitol Records had done some things for other label or artists on their labels, Missing Persons, Thomas Dolby. They did some EPs. So they decided that would be a good idea to do for Duran 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 to kind of help change this direction. So that's when they released a little EP called Carnival.
That's right. And for a long, long time, I've known about that, but I've never really understood what it was. I knew there was some sort of weird release by Duran Duran called Carnival. I didn't know why it existed or what it was. Every now and again, I would see something like Carnival Mix. And I was like, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
So that EP was released in September 1982, just a few months after the initial release. And that was also not just in the U.S., that was released in Canada, Spain, Netherlands, Japan, and Taiwan.
Okay. All over the world in various countries.
Yeah, but it wasn't needed in the U.K., so it wasn't released in the U.K. The EP was actually pretty popular with club DJs, so the label's idea paid off. With the success of that EP, the band pressed the label, hey, let's release a remixed version of the album.
Right.
Like, let's redo Rio.
Yeah.
The label approved that idea, and Kirschenbaum remixed a few other tracks, I think particularly Lonely in Your Nightmare. And then in November, just two months later, Rio, the record proper, was re-released with like heavy promotion this time. And this time it's being marketed as a dance record by a dance band.
Right. But you know what's kind of sad?
What?
All that work that Kirschenbaum did on the remixes that ended up on that album, he doesn't get any credit on that album.
I saw something about
There's
that.
no remix credit on that album. Not on the inner sleeve, not on the label. So another consequence of that is that the song lengths listed on there aren't right because they aren't the ones that go with the Kirschenbaum mixes.
Oh, they never really bothered to redo That's kind of lame.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. In your research, did you see that there was a second Kirschenbaum re-release?
Yeah. And I found this wonderful website that goes into great lengths and detail about this album, how many versions there were of it, and how many versions of the different songs there were.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it is confusing.
It is. Yeah. And I don't know how much we want to get into it here. Just, it might bog everyone down. But I do want to say it starts off talking about this version by saying, it is entirely unclear why, shortly after releasing the remixed and remastered Rio LP, a third version of the LP was rushed into stores. So the people doing this research, they didn't really know why. They said the third version is identical to the second, except for Hungry Like the Wolf.
Right.
That has the Kirschenbaum remix actually being replaced with a longer and previously released night version.
Right. And the night versions of these songs, Duran Duran has a bunch of versions of their songs called night versions.
Right.
Which are just basically like extended versions of the songs.
Yeah.
But they're not really remixes. It's actually the band themselves recording
a
longer version for the dance clubs, which I always thought was kind of neat because that's not what other bands would do.
No. And they talk about how difficult that was to do because they were doing that live. They were recording those new versions live. And so their extended versions of the songs, they'd have to redo the whole song if they stopped. And,
right, yeah. If you mess up, you start over.
Like the old days, like in the days of the Beatles, and they just had to start over.
Yep, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I went a long time not knowing what Carnival was. I went a long time knowing that Duran Duran had things called night versions.
Yeah.
But I just thought they were very boring with their like remix names.
Yeah.
I was like, why do they call them all night version? That's weird.
Yeah.
Years later, I found that out. And I think that's really cool. I kind of respect that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And again, it just shows that they were actual musicians. A lot of people think that they were just these pretty boys, but they really did have musical chops. And to be able to redo these versions live, in the studio, that shows that they were not just, oh, we don't care. They were serious about what they wanted to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And in terms of musical chops and, the boy band image or whatever, I mean, you can't listen to this album without realizing what talented songwriters they are.
I agree. Yeah. They're not just there to put something out to sell records. They are doing it because they love music and they want to create and they want to make a sound of their own.
That is right. So we talked about the reception of the album already, where it charted in different countries and the gold or platinum status. I just wanted to mention, along with that stuff, I also wrote down that over the years, different magazines have done different charts of things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wrote a couple of those down.
Yep, I have some too.
All right, we can go back and forth here.
All right.
Q Magazine did the 100 greatest British albums, and this album comes in. It's pretty good to make the 100 greatest albums list, but this album charts at number 98, which disappointed me.
Yeah. 100 greatest British albums, and this is only number 98. Not so good.
All right, give me one.
All right. A couple years later, NME did one. It was the 100 greatest albums of all time. And Rio made number 65 on that list.
Oh, that's a little better.
Yep.
I saw that BBC Radio 2 did a top 100 favorite albums of all time, like listeners' votes.
Yeah.
And this one finished at number 3.
Well, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pitchfork did a top 100 albums of the 1980s. Again, sort of a disappointing ranking there. Only number 95. I don't understand that.
I don't like that.
No.
And like I mentioned earlier, I said I had this big book sitting here.
Yeah.
Robert Dimery's 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die.
Yeah.
I used to break this book out a lot earlier in the history of our show here, our podcast.
Yeah.
But I haven't needed it for a while. I guess we've been talking about kind of terrible albums. I don't know.
Hey.
I've enjoyed them.
Yeah, me too.
But this one is the first album in a long time that appears in the book. So that's kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I think this is one of those albums that has definitely not only stood the test of time, but maybe even become more appreciated over time. I read the Smash Hits review.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love looking at those. And the album review was not all that good. Would you like to hear what they
lay it on
said?
me.
All right. So
Wait, isn't that the guy who hates everything?
Well, Dave Rimmer does a lot of the single reviews, and I do have some from him later on. But this review was written by Fred Deller, and it's from May 13th, 1982. And he starts off by saying, the first 3 tracks, the singles Rio and My Own Way, plus the marvelously melodic Lonely in Your Nightmare, had me jotting down theories about the new golden age of pop. Sounds good so far.
Yeah.
Then the quality swingometer began gradually slipping back. By the time that last song, the 1978 vintage The Chauffeur, dragged itself off the turntable, it was apparent that the Le Bon Squad had delivered yet another well-dressed but not totally satisfying album. Third time lucky? Could be. He gives it 5.5 stars out of 10.
Oh, man.
I know. Not good.
No, I like to think that looking back on that, he would regret that rating.
I hope so. Yeah.
So I have an excerpt from the write-up in the 1001 Albums book.
Oh, cool.
So in that book, they say, Rio demonstrates how far John Taylor, Roger Taylor, and Nick Rhodes defined the band's sound. Glossy, sexy, slick, and infectious. But Simon and Andy are equally vital to the overall experience, with Le Bon's obscure lyrics and not always technically sound vocal delivery augmented by Andy Taylor's guitar, giving tracks like Hungry Like the Wolf a rock edge that made them accessible to a mainstream audience. Rio-era Duran Duran were matchless in their ability to craft perfect pop that defined a decade.
Nice.
So I do like that last sentence a lot, but I have a comment or two about the other things that he says.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Is it simply because Simon Le Bon hit that bum note in Live Aid that like critics love to point out that they always hedge their bets by saying something like that. Like here he says, Le Bon's not always technically sound vocal delivery. People love to point out that like he has issues as a singer. And, you know, we joke about him sometimes as we're singing along on the radio. His like whiny.
He's got the whine sometimes. And
How do you always do it? But there are far worse singers than Simon Le Bon.
Oh, definitely.
Johnny Rotten, Fred Schneider,
even Bernie,
Bernard Sumner, without a doubt. Robert Smith, no one. People treat, especially New Order and The Cure, who I love. But critics treat these bands like legends.
Yeah.
Those guys don't sing.
No.
As well as Simon Le Bon.
No.
But Simon Le Bon is the one who gets picked on.
I know.
I don't get it. I think it's lame.
I agree. It's very misplaced criticism, in my opinion.
It probably also comes a bit from the pinup quality of the band, too, I guess.
Right.
I guess that because they were so attractive, all 5 of them were dreamy.
Yeah.
I guess because they have that image, critics think you can say things like that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't say it about the other bands.
You don't say it about Morton Harkett of a-ha, which is funny because they are also regarded as a pinup band, but like I guess his voice is just so much better than the Simons that they just can't even say that.
A lot of critics will just badmouth a-ha's songwriting. I still remember a review I read many, many years ago that said like if Morton Harkett had been born a little bit earlier and came up in the 70s, he would be like a legendary folk vocalist. Like his voice is so good. And it's the fact that, you know, his band uses cheesy keyboards and stuff that has kept him from being regarded as an amazing singer.
Yeah.
So, you know, a-ha does get picked on for another aspect of their music. But I just can't get the why it's open season on Simon Le Bon.
I know. It's sad. We like you, Simon.
Yeah, we do. You have another review?
You know what? I didn't find any other old reviews. I saw lots of like kind of retrospective reviews, which of course gushed about how great the album was. I didn't write them down.
Okay. I only went for the new retro reviews because I know that you often like to get the reviews at the time. So I have one more. And this is a review I really enjoyed. I wish I could have taken more of it. But let me just tell you, it's on a website called theyoungfolks.com.
Oh, okay.
And if you can maybe search for youngfolks.com, Duran Duran Rio or something, read the whole review. It's really entertaining to read because it's a website whose mission statement is to write about things that appeal to the young folks of today.
Oh,
and
really?
It's for them.
Oh.
So it was kind of neat to read this review.
Okay.
And they say a few things that maybe as you're reading it, you won't like. If you're a huge Duran Duran fan, they talk about things that are silly. But they love the album.
Okay.
And their closing statement is, there's a reason Rio's made plenty of top albums of the 1980s lists, and that's simply because it's a good album. Rio is a beautiful piece of synth pop perfection, with each song intricately written. It's an amazingly silly and amazingly polished pop masterpiece that deserves all the praise it gets.
Interesting.
Yep. I really enjoyed their take on this record. Mm-hmm. But they did mention a couple things that were silly on it.
Yeah.
And some of them I couldn't even disagree with.
No.
But when it's not silly, like bad.
No. I find it interesting, though, that they call it synth pop. I think we can call it synth pop, but there's a lot of guitar in this album.
There is. It's chock filled with guitar.
It is. It's kind of like the New Order thing. And I think we talked about Duran Duran when we talked about New Order technique and the whole, they've got guitars and they've got synths. Whereas New Order often has songs that are specifically more guitar oriented and songs that are synth oriented. Most of Duran Duran songs have both in one song.
Yeah, right. And like we just said, that's intentional. I mean, especially in the U.S., they mixed it that way.
Right.
But
so to call it synth pop, I think that's a little bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, I'd call it dance pop.
Yeah.
New Order talks about dance songs and rock songs. Like Bernard said with the new album that came out a few years ago, Music Complete, he said it had been a while since we had done a dance album. I think to that band, a dance song is like Fine Time and Mr. Disco, things that are heavily synth.
Right.
And then the rock albums and rock songs are the ones, with guitar. They're not rock and roll.
No.
But they have a lot of guitar in them.
Yeah.
So this album, work on this album began right after the band returned from their first headlining tour of the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick says, that trip was the most exciting thing that had ever happened to us.
I'll bet.
So that energy you can hear throughout the record is a direct result of that trip.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that image of these. I like how these young guys come back.
Yeah.
They're so excited about the progress they've made in their career.
Yeah.
And they just want to go right into the studio and start working so they can go back out again as soon as possible.
Yeah. They're not like dragged down by the perils and trials of a tour. They were like energized by it. It's really cool.
And the thing that is, to me, super interesting about that tour is they went into the studio and they said that basically all the songs were already written. They didn't have to waste any time because they wrote all these songs on tour during the pre-concert sound checks.
Oh, okay.
Like as they had to stand out there and play instruments for the sound guys.
Yeah.
This is what they were working on. They were working on new songs, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And he says the chemistry of the 5 people in the band at that time just seemingly made it super easy to write new songs. They had like more songs than they needed.
Yeah. And not only the chemistry among all the band members, but that with their producer, Colin Thurston, who did join them for their second album. He'd worked on the first album, the self-titled Duran Duran album, and they did very well with him, and they brought him along for the second album. And again, there was just a great connection. He understood what they were trying to achieve musically, and he helped them do it.
And he's a cool guy. He kind of started out working in music he sort of lied his way into a job.
Yeah.
And then he got the chance to co-engineer Bowie's Heroes.
That's right.
And co-engineer and co-produce Iggy Pop's Lust for Life. And then I saw that he also has produced some other albums that we enjoy. The Human League's first album, which was called Reproduction. And Talk Talk's The Party's Over.
Very cool.
And we just talked about him 2 weeks ago, 2 shows ago, producing something, Sarah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did. I knew that we mentioned that he worked with the 2 Duran Duran albums. And I think that's when you were like, hey, when are you going to talk about them?
Yep, that's right.
What was the song?
It was Kajagoogoo Too Shy. He produced that album, but that song in particular he co-produced with Nick Rhodes.
That's right. Very cool.
So I was a little sad to see that in January 2007, Thurston, who John Taylor claimed was a major catalyst for the 80s sound, he passed away.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I tried to find out what happened. All the write-ups I saw just said that he died after a long illness.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what it was, but I was sad to see that.
That is a shame. But his music and his legacy will live on.
That's right. And that last mix of the record that he worked on with Duran Duran, did you see who sat with John Taylor and the rest of the band listening to that final mix the first time they ever heard it?
I saw they had a whole bunch of different people coming into the studios during the recording, but of course the most notable one was Macca.
That's right. Sir Paul McCartney sat there and listened to the final mix of the album with them, and John thought that was amazingly cool.
Well, it is.
And I think it's cool because he was working in the studio next to them, so that he was probably working on the Tug of War album.
That's true.
Which is my favorite Paul McCartney album.
Yeah.
Paul came over to listen, and he ended up giving Rio 2 thumbs up.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yep.
All right. So Fred Deller, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, really. So I think there was another story in John Taylor's book, In the Pleasure Groove, where he talks about how the band kind of were friends with Paul's daughter, so they would get to see him every now and again. And one time they ran into Paul McCartney out somewhere, and he said, "Oh, aren't you those guys from Birmingham?" And they said, "Yeah, we're just out having some fun." And Paul McCartney said something like very, very old manish. He's like, "Whoa, that's good. I'm glad you're able to get out and have some fun. John and I used to do that sometimes. Just get out of the studio and drive to a big city and have some fun, and it would always recharge the batteries and inspire us to write some more songs."
And he was like, what, like 42 or something at that point. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious.
But I like that story. Yeah. I'm really into Paul McCartney right now because I've been listening to Egypt Station, his new album, quite a bit. It's a fantastic album.
It is. It's very good.
Probably I said that it's his best since Flaming Pie.
Okay.
Which is, that's probably like 15, 16, 17 years ago.
Oh, I think it's from 1997.
97 and 21 years. And it's just a fantastic album. A lot of songs on here remind me of some of like his older recordings.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying it. I like every song on it.
Very cool.
Sorry to get off on that tangent.
Well, that's okay. That's an unusual one.
Yeah, normally I try to strong arm James Bond in here.
Yeah. Well, we could probably do that.
Oh, yeah. We could. I intentionally am not, though.
Okay.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
So another thing I learned from John Taylor's book is that it was his idea to call the album Rio.
Yes, I saw that as well.
And he said that Rio was shorthand for the truly foreign, the exotic, a cornucopia of earthly delights. A party that would never stop.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. And he says that it was Simon's idea, though, to make Rio a woman, not a city.
Okay.
And he thought that was perfect. He really liked the lyrics to that song.
Did you see anything that referenced they actually were considering calling it America or something along those lines?
I think I may have seen that.
Okay. And then they decided that would be a little too much, and so they kind of made it a little more exotic by calling it Rio.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, for sure. It would be a little too much pandering. Like, we really want to hit it big in America. Let's call it the song or the album America. Like,
yep.
Okay. Kind of like a Culture Club renaming It's a Miracle.
Yeah, right.
So this album, as you said, it was recorded all kind of at one time, with the exception of one song. The song My Own Way was done before the rest of the album. It was kind of ended up being a stopgap single, so they didn't even think it was going to be on the album. I know I'm kind of getting ahead, but it was recorded in October of 1981 at Townhouse Studios in London, and then the rest of the album was recorded at Air Studios in London between January and February of 1982.
Like we said, it took 2 months because they had all these songs already written. And except for the case of the chauffeur, they were arranged as well. They had the arrangements done already too. So they're able to wrap it up really quickly.
Yeah.
So you can't really talk about Duran Duran Rio without talking about the extremely iconic album cover.
For sure. The artwork is just a part of the entire package that makes it so memorable.
Indeed. And in the John Taylor book, John Taylor writes, "Is Rio the greatest album cover of the 80s? Discuss." So, all right, John Taylor.
Well, if he's asking us to discuss it, we'd better do that.
So, Sarah, is Rio the greatest album cover of the 80s?
It definitely captures the essence of the 80s.
Without doubt. I can't think of a cover which more perfectly sums up the decade.
I have to agree. So I guess he's right. I guess it is.
I say it's not.
Ooh, tell me why.
I repeat, I can't think of a cover that sums up the decade more perfectly. However, it is not the best cover. It is the definitive 1980s sleeve, but it's not as good as some other albums. In particular, the one that I instantly think of is A Broken Frame.
Well, that's true. I do love that album cover very, very, very much.
Yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to have a better cover than that one.
Yeah.
So, Broken Frame isn't doesn't sum up the 80s as well.
No.
It's just a better composition, I think, better picture. But this is definitely, I love this cover. I totally respect it.
Yeah, it's instantly recognizable as well.
Yes.
Everyone sees that Nagel picture and they think, that's Duran Duran Rio. It's just that well known.
Yep, and it's totally 80s.
It is.
Like you said, it's a painting by the U.S. illustrator Patrick Nagel, who is known to most people through his art in the magazine Playboy.
Ah, yes.
But it's not just Nagel that did the cover.
No.
It also was Malcolm Garrett.
Correct.
Who worked on a lot of Duran Duran sleeves
he did.
over the years.
And not just Duran Duran either.
Oh, yeah.
He did Color by Numbers.
He did do Color by Numbers.
We talked about him then.
Yep. He did Sold by Boy George. He did Simple Minds, the one with Up on the Catwalk, I believe.
Okay.
Something in the Rain. I can't think of what it's called. Sparkle in the Rain. And he is the one who took the painting and surrounded it with the purple border, and he added the logos, the Duran Duran and the Rio.
Yeah.
Those diagonal lines and stuff.
Well, he did a very good job.
He certainly did. So it was a collaboration of those two people, and we got to give them both credit.
And kind of a neat thing about the Nagel painting, I guess it was commissioned because he submitted 2 pictures. Another one that he submitted was later used in a 2001 limited edition CD re-release.
I saw that cover. It was nice.
Oh, yeah. Very nice picture.
So a few months ago, Classic Pop Magazine and our friend Andrew Dineley in particular released a special Duran Duran edition of their magazine. And Andrew did a great article in there about various Duran Duran sleeves, both album covers and single covers. And one of the things he mentioned is that Patrick Nagel had died very young.
Right.
And so I sort of wanted to find out about that because I never realized that. I sort of know Nagel because of my friend Jim in college. He was like a fan of his, and that's sort of how I know him. I saw that, he was quite a drinker. He was quite a smoker. He stayed up to whatever hour of the night working on his artwork and stuff. Didn't really live a very healthy lifestyle. But when he was 38 years old, he participated in this charity aerobathon to raise money for the American Heart Association.
Oh, wow.
And I had seen that he had quit smoking before he did this. Like he was attempting to get healthier and stuff.
Okay.
But his body was found later that day, like in his car in the parking lot of the aerobic studio. Like he went out to his car and actually died.
Oh, no.
In the car. He had a heart attack, and they discovered after he had passed away that he had a congenital heart defect that had gone undetected his entire life.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's what happened to him.
Oh, that's so sad.
And then, things get crazy after he died.
Really?
Yeah. After his death, his agent continues to publish his work and sell it to magazines and sell pieces to people. And he's flooding the market with so much Nagel that as a result, it lowers the value of Nagel's work.
Oh, no.
And another problem was that most of Nagel's original artwork was unsigned. So it's very difficult to ensure that anything is original. And then to make things even worse, in 1991, the FBI discovers and busts and dismantles a counterfeit ring, an art counterfeit ring that was producing fake Nagels.
Wow.
So by 1996, his work is worthless. Like his original artwork is worthless. And it's thought that about 70% of his art was destroyed or discarded by people who possessed it.
Because they thought it was fake?
Because they thought it was fake, because it wasn't worth anything, and they were like, what's the point?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But guess what?
I don't know.
Art, like fashion, I guess, is a cycle.
Yeah.
And by the late 2000s, people loved him again.
Okay.
And his surviving work regained its value and in most cases exceeded what it had been worth. And so in 2017, for instance, his canvas version of this Rio cover sold for like $212,000.
Wow. Jeez.
So
that's
all those
something.
people who threw away their stuff because it was worthless, they regretted it 20 years later.
Yeah, just like they threw away their bell bottoms in the 70s and needed those later.
They could be wearing those again now.
Yeah.
And there's a great story in John's book. He, Simon, and Nick were at the BBC on Top of the Pops, and they were there promoting. They were going to perform the song "I Don't Want Your Love."
Oh, so this is later.
This is at the point where those are the 3 original members in the band still. They're over there, and they realize that their original managers have an office in that area.
Oh.
And they no longer work with these managers. They're managing themselves, and they don't talk to those managers. And they said, "Hey, isn't that the office where they have the Nagel print like framed on the wall?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it is." So they grabbed a security guy, and they grabbed their limo that they had there at the studio, and they speed over to the manager's office.
Yeah.
And most people were out to lunch. They get there around lunchtime, and they storm in, and they take it down off the wall. And they said, "It's our turn to have this painting now. And if Paul and Michael want it back, have them call us."
Oh, my goodness.
And they walked out with it, and they said that to this day, they've never heard heard from the manager saying they want it back.
Well, if anyone had a right, I guess, to take it back, it would have been them.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder who has it now. I wonder where it is.
When they were working with Nego on the cover, first he sent them a version of the painting on glass.
Oh, cool.
Or on plastic or glass or something.
Okay.
But then near the end of the process, he sent them a 5 foot by 5 foot canvas.
Okay.
And that's what this was. It says in 2017, his canvas version of Rio's cover sold for $212,000.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if
they sold it.
If they sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it sounds like it's probably that same version.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so before we start talking about the actual music on the album, we like to talk about our personal history with the album.
Yes, we do.
So, Sarah, do you have anything... Does this album have any kind of impact on your life?
Well, I'd say now it does, but back in the day, it really didn't. I did not own this album. I never even had a copy of it. So whenever we owned it together as a couple, I guess, is whenever I ever had it in my music collection. I will say that in 7th grade, I'd say, I knew a lot of girls at school who were super into Duran Duran, and they would talk about them all the time, and they were really, really into them. And I knew the songs on the radio, but again, I didn't have MTV. I didn't have a boombox until 1985, and I didn't know anyone that was copying things like Duran Duran. Like, you weren't making me Duran Duran copies. This doesn't really have, it's sad. I don't have a big, long history with this album.
Poor you.
I know. So how about you?
Well, I don't really have too much of a personal history with this album. Here's the thing. I've always liked Duran Duran. Back in the day, when I often talk about my VHS videotape that I would stay up late on Friday nights watching Friday Night Videos and Night Flight, all those other shows. I would always be super excited to get Duran Duran videos because I loved all their singles. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had like all the Wild Boys. I would watch that over and over. Videos from this album, I had all those. Union and the Snake. These are the Reflex. I love that one. Mm-hmm. I loved all those songs. I'd leave them on the radio.
Yeah, I loved all of those too.
But for some weird reason, I never owned a Duran Duran album. I loved all the singles. I just didn't feel the need to own an entire album. And meanwhile, I'm buying, albums by Culture Club, Thompson. I am buying records at this point in time.
Yeah, you weren't like me that just didn't have a big music collection. You were buying stuff. Yeah.
I think about it sometimes and I really don't understand it. So I seriously I do not buy a Duran Duran album until 1990. I go out and buy the album Liberty.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever spent money on a Duran Duran product. And I had a copy on a cassette of Big Thing.
Okay.
That's the only time I've ever had an album. I'd never heard an entire Duran Duran album up until Big Thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't buy that one. And then Liberty, I said, I'm gonna go buy Liberty. So I buy Liberty, and I think it's awesome. I still think Liberty is an awesome album.
Yeah. I remember you playing that. That was, like early in our relationship, and I remember playing that, playing in the car with you, going around, and I loved that too.
Yeah.
Gotta wanna get too stoned. Then we're gonna see who's gonna take who home. The violence of summer, a love's taking over. It starts with desire, ends up undercover.
I think almost every song on that album is great. Mm-hmm. Most people seem to hate it. So that's the first Duran Duran album I buy. And from that point on, I get every Duran Duran album.
That's true.
I have them all. Medazzaland, Pop Trash.
Everything.
Everything that most folks don't even know exists.
Yeah.
And I love them all. I think they're all great. The only one I don't really like too much is Thank You, the covers album.
There's fewer songs on that album that I like, that I can't go the whole way through like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Yeah. I mean, my love of Duran Duran is this past year, Record Store Day.
Yeah.
There were 2 Duran Duran releases.
Yep.
Special releases. Mm-hmm. We got them both.
Yep.
We were like getting Duran Duran records. However, we did not own Rio until it looks like 2009.
Yeah.
When this 2-disc re-release came out. Like for years, we have this Duran Duran section on our CD shelf, and I'm perfectly content for it to start with
1990
Liberty.
Yeah.
So then when
What's
this came
wrong
out,
with us?
I said, you know what? Even though I have Decade, which has all those hits, I guess I should get all these other albums. So I got Duran Duran, Notorious, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and Big Thing. I got those all used at a used CD shop.
Okay.
So now we actually have every Duran Duran album.
Okay.
And I love them all.
And
they're all great records.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I just didn't feel that pull to own them. Anytime a new album came out, I had to get it right away.
Yeah. But you were not looking at the back catalog at all, even though that's the music we both grew up with and heard all the time and was on MTV and everything.
Yeah.
We have no good reason for this. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
I had Midazoland so much longer than I've had Rio.
Yeah, that's really weird.
People would think that's totally insane.
Yeah. So maybe that was part of why we've been reluctant to talk about this album, because we just didn't grow up with the entire album like we have with so many of the others. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm never going to say that their singles aren't amazing and classic songs, because that's what they are. I've loved them all my life.
For sure.
But album-wise, I wasn't familiar with this
No.
So that's that, I guess.
Okay, well, it's the honest truth.
So that brings us up to song number 1.
Okay.
On side number 1.
Wow.
Of Rio. I really don't even have to play a sound sample for it.
You don't have to, no, because everybody knows it.
Everyone knows it.
Well, that hasn't stopped you before.
I guess so. So here's the title track, folks. You already know it, so sing along.
Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand, just like that river twisting through a dusty land. And when she shines, she really shows you all she can. Oh, Rio, dance across the Rio Grande.
Oh, man, I love that song so much.
That is a classic.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about the release and chart info first.
Oh, my brain hurts.
I know. The first place this song was released was Australia. It was released in August of 1982. It was the third single released from the album there. Didn't really do too much. It only got to number 60. You may be wondering, why did they even release it so early there?
Why did they?
Well, because they had actually already toured for that album, for the album Rio, in Australia in April of 1982. Yeah, they toured about a month before the album was even released.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. But they did really, really well in Australia. They sold out like all their dates there. So they had a really big following in Australia, and that's why they were kind of releasing songs already for the album.
Where was that big following when the single came out?
I don't know. I mean, this was the third single, but it was really strange. Now, do you know where else it was being played in August of 1982?
In August of 1982... it was being played in California on the radio station with our good friend Richard Blade.
Correct.
K-Rock.
Right. Yep. They were playing it there even though it had not yet been released in the U.S. So they were ahead of the curve. Pretty much the only ones ahead of the curve in the U.S. because although the song was released in the U.S. in October of 1982, it didn't even enter the Hot 100.
Yeah, that's right. It was the fourth and final single from the album, and it was released worldwide in October of that year.
Right.
Except for in Australia.
Yes. Yeah, so this is going to become a pattern and for this album and for these songs. It's very strange. It ended up being re-released in the States in March of 1983, and it was the follow-up to yet another re-release, which was Hungry Like the Wolf.
That's right. And we're going to talk about that, I guess, when we get to Hungry Like the Wolf in more detail. But the fact that this album is remembered as such a hit really comes down to MTV and their success on MTV. And we'll talk about that when we get to Hungry Like the Wolf. But yeah, it was the strength of Hungry Like the Wolf that prompted them to then re-release this song.
Right, yeah.
And when it was released, what month was that then?
It was re-released in March of 83. Yep.
And at that point, it did quite well.
Yeah.
Peaking at number 14 on both the Billboard chart and the Cashbox chart.
Correct.
I think this is the first time those two charts have ever
coincided.
Synced up.
Yeah.
So it was also number 5 in the U.S. mainstream rock chart, number 3 in Canada.
Yes. Did really well there.
Yep. And in both UK and Ireland, it hit number 9.
Right. And it was released, that was the fourth single in the UK from the album. You count My Own Way,
right?
Which was before the album actually came out. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. So it didn't do a whole lot all over the world. So it didn't really make too many year-end charts. You know, we often talk about the year-end charts for songs. I only saw that it was on 2 year-end charts for 1983.
Yep.
It was number 37 in Canada, and the Cashbox year-end chart had it at number 94.
That is surprising, actually, for
a song that only made it to 14.
Made it to 14, right? To be even that high on the year-end chart. But I guess it takes into account factors other than peak position.
Who knows? Maybe even at that point they were looking at video play. I don't know.
I think that the single in the UK, the 7-inch single, had an interesting B-side worth mentioning.
Oh, all right.
It had here in the US, we we got the song Hold Back the Rain as the B-side.
Okay.
Which is a good song.
Sure.
But in the UK...
It's an album track.
Right. In the UK, they were treated to the Chauffeur Blue Silver.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Which was like an early acoustic version of the song that makes its way to the, the end of this album, which is kind of an atmospheric, kind of synthy song.
Very much.
This is more of an acoustic version that they were messing with early on in the process. And that was kind of a neat treat for the fans to hear.
Yeah,
on
for
a B-side.
sure. Good call. So I think because this was the 4th single, I couldn't find any reviews for this from the time period. I could not find a Smash Hits review. I think they were probably done reviewing Duran Duran singles for this album at that point. So the only reviews I have are from nowadays, like from more recent times.
Well, they may be seen through more rose-tinted glasses, but it's still worth exploring what people are saying about the song. I'd like to hear them.
Well, the one that's nice and short and sweet is from a site called thoughtco.com, and I really like this. It says, "This tune, which may be the group's pinnacle, features an unbelievably tasty intro that equally displays Rhodes keyboards, Andy Taylor's guitar, and even some notably funky bass from John Taylor. Throw LeBon's brilliant, clear-voiced vocals on top of that, all you have is pure pop music gold."
I agree.
Yeah.
The beginning of this song is awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He doesn't even mention the very beginning of the song.
No.
Which is a very cool effect that we can talk about after you read your other review.
So the other review I saw, which is much more lengthy, is from AllMusic. It's by Donald A. Guarisco. And I won't read it all, even though I'd like to, but we're going to talk enough about this song that I don't want to take up a lot of time. But there's some key points I'll read for you. Starting with the beginning, Duran Duran's status as a worldwide phenomenon makes it easy to forget the surprisingly arty and ambitious edge of their early singles. A good example is Rio, a new wave classic that dresses up its pop hooks with plenty of arty atmosphere. The lyrics have a playful romantic feel as they paint an enticing portrait of the title character, a woman whose cherry ice cream smile is too lovely to resist. The other thing I wanted to mention was Duran Duran's recording of Rio has a feel reminiscent of Roxy Music's work circa Flesh and Blood and Avalon, as it welds quietly spacey washes of synthesizer to a hypnotically churning rhythm section anchored by John Taylor's fluid bass lines, and also works in a saxophone solo from session man Andy Hamilton that sounds just like Andy McKay's famous solos for Roxy Music.
Oh, yeah, that's totally intentional. The band loved Roxy Music, so it's not a coincidence that they're getting that same kind of sound.
No, not at all. They even dress like them. So those were 2 really good reviews that I wanted to share. That's all I have on reviews.
Yeah, that is very cool. I don't have any reviews, but I liked hearing those, especially that second one.
Yeah, and there's more to it. Go look it up on AllMusic and you'll get the whole picture of it, but it is pretty long, so I didn't want to go through all of it right now.
Can we talk about this song in terms of the songwriting before we actually get to the song?
Yeah, let's do that because that's the next thing I have on my list.
All right. I saw a cool quote from Nick.
Okay.
Where Nick was talking about what this song is.
Okay.
And he says that this song is a bright, colorful outburst.
Oh.
Which I thought was a cool description of a song.
It is. Yeah. And it's good. It's a good description of this song.
Yeah. So this song has a really interesting history.
It does.
And I want to talk about this right now because I just got a notice that my phone battery is about to die. So,
oh, no.
So I've got to play these samples before my phone dies.
Okay.
All right. So there's actually 2 pre-existing songs that sort of lend parts to this song.
Right.
They kind of steal from themselves.
Yeah, this is like pieced together. This song is actually pieced together from 2 different earlier songs.
Right. So the verses of this song are taken from an early days Duran Duran song called See Me, Repeat Me, a song that they were doing before Simon Le Bon was in the band.
Right.
So I actually have a little sample of that song if you'd like to hear it, Sarah.
I would, please.
Why don't you just do that again? But you shouldn't hang around with the other men. Don't go outside. What's your name? What do you like? We want to please you. And are you getting the right truth? Just like you used to do.
So that is Andy Wickett,
Okay.
the lead vocalist of Duran Duran at the time, singing a song called See Me, Repeat Me. And I don't know, I have a little trouble picking out Rio's verse in that, sort of at the end there. as the music drops out and it's just the drum beat. I hear that part.
Yeah.
But I had a little trouble early on. But that is supposedly what Nick used for the verses.
Okay. I can see kind of the percussion and the drum beat in the background. You know, the tempo of it sounds similar to Rio. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the rest of it. Certainly not the melody line.
No, not the melody.
Yeah.
So then a song that's a little easier to hear is the song that they stole the chorus from, or they used for the chorus. It was taken from a song called Stevie's Radio Station, which was a song written by a band called TVI. Andy Wickett was the lead singer of that band.
Right, yeah.
So Duran Duran would often do this song live when they were performing with Andy as their singer. So I'm not really sure why Andy doesn't get, or whoever wrote this song, gets songwriting credit on Rio. I guess when you listen to it, they don't really steal the melody, they just steal the chords. So I guess maybe you can't.
Well, before he left the band, he did make a deal with them to get, because he also helped write Girls on Film. And so he made a deal with them before he left the band to get, like, I don't know, 600 pounds or something. And he would sign a waiver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I found that on the Duran Duran Wikipedia. So he kind of like relinquished his rights to future royalties for any of these songs that he has kind of helped contribute to. But nowadays he mentions that he is the writer for these songs. Like if you go to his website, I think he says he wrote Girls on Film and Rio and maybe something else. So it was taken care of before he left the band.
Okay. Well, a lot of these songs came out a few years ago on like a short EP, Duran Duran, like the early days. I think it may have been called Girls on Film. Like the demos or something.
Yeah.
The version of Girls on Film that's on there, it's basically only the chorus is the same. The verses are very different.
Yeah.
So for him to claim that he wrote that song is a little crazy.
Well,
if he's going to say he's a co-writer, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the song that they stole the chorus from. It's called Stevie's Radio Station.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely hear the chord progression from the Rio chorus in that song.
Before he starts singing in there, you could actually just sing Rio to that song.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the band Duran Duran's favorite TVI song of all their songs that they had. And they did actually record that song, but then it was never released. You'll laugh at this, I think. The band thought the drums were too fast. Yeah. So that was not a problem for Duran Duran. And that combined with the other one, which I thought also had very fast drums, formed the basis for Rio. Now, you just heard Andy's really great vocals on that song.
And by really great, we mean...
Yeah, not so great.
Not so great.
So that's what makes this part of the story, I think, very, very interesting. After Andy left Duran Duran, he still helped them out. The band's managers at the time, which were Paul and Michael Barrow,
right?
He asked Sandy to give Simon Le Bon singing lessons. Yeah. They paid him £10 a session, and Andy would give Simon 20-minute lessons, getting him to sing the song Girls on Film.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So... I don't know what to say about that. You know, people that have complaints about Simon Le Bon's vocals, and yet this guy was helping him. I don't know. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
I don't consider Andy to be that talented a vocalist.
No, not really. I think Simon Le Bon definitely surpassed him.
Yeah.
So that's the origins of this song. Kind of a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster, but turned out to be a really good thing.
I agree. The whole is way better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and since we're talking about the songwriting, I just wanted to mention the lyrics. I mentioned before the song sample that John came up with the idea of Rio, and it was that he wanted to. It was a hedonistic place in his mind. You know, he wasn't familiar with it really in real life, but he had this vision of it. And he said that Simon's lyrics infused this girl named Rio with all the hedonism and romance of the Brazil of my fantasies. And he was really a big fan of these lyrics.
Okay,
he thought that Simon did a great job.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I think they are very good. And as the All Music Review mentions, that cherry ice cream smile That is a really great phrase. And I think it also is personified on the cover. I think that the model in the Nagel painting has a cherry ice cream smile. And I suppose that's very nice.
It is very nice. I'm doing a Vanna White with
I
it
see
right
that.
now
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. You're like the spokesmodel. Like, yes, as you can see here.
Yeah, she's lovely. Very lovely.
Yes.
So before my phone dies completely, I have one final sound
Oh, all right.
to play as we move here. Let's talk about the actual song.
Okay.
And let's talk about that introduction to the song.
Yes, let's do that.
So I have one sample that combines two different things that I just want to point out to you.
Okay.
The sound that you hear at the very beginning before the music starts.
Yeah, it kind of like fades in, at least on the album it does.
It fades in. And what it is actually a backwards recording of Nick throwing metal rods into the strings of a grand piano.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's what that sound is.
Wow.
And so listen for that. It's going to be backwards, but...
So it's like they're coming out of the piano?
Yep.
Okay.
And then... Everybody knows it, but I just want to play it for a second and point it out. The very distinctive keyboard pattern, the first thing we hear.
Yes.
It's produced by an arpeggiator.
Yes.
Which is a device that can be programmed to play the individual notes of a chord in a particular pattern.
Right.
So that's what this is. It's I saw what it was. It's like a C
Roland,
major 7 or something.
Yep. It's a Roland Jupiter 4 using the random mode on the arpeggiator with a C major 7 chord.
Right. So that's what it sounds really neat. And if you love synth music, you love that sound.
Yeah.
But that's really what it is. Evidently, you couldn't just do that with a synth. You needed also this other device to make it happen. So I wanted to point that out, that introduction thing, just because I think Duran Duran gets a little bit of a bum rap, because of their poster boy image at this time. Or, everyone loves to talk about how Depeche Mode sampled so many of the sounds on Black Celebration.
Yeah.
They were into sampling and did so many great things. And that was just a neat little tidbit that this band did the same thing. They had
That's right.
Who would think of, hey, I'm going to throw these metal rods into this grand piano and record it and play it backwards?
That's Alan Wilder would probably think of that.
Oh, yeah, Alan would.
But not that many people would realize that Nick Rhodes would think of that. So, yeah, I think that's great that you pointed that out. And I'm sure that so many people that have heard that song over the years have wondered what that sound is. So thank you for clearing that up for people.
My pleasure.
All right.
My pleasure. So this is an incredible opening track for this album.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
You couldn't get off to a better start. It instantly snaps its fingers in your face, wakes you up.
Oh, yeah.
And says, hold on to your seats.
That's right.
I think you can instantly see growth in this band in this song and comparing it to everything that came off of this album, Sarah.
Yes, that he's now, showing like a Vanna White in front of me. Yeah.
Duran Duran.
Duran Duran, self-titled. Yes.
The sound of that guitar and the drums, especially in the opening before everything comes together.
Yeah.
It sounds so crisp and it's like so electrifying.
I know. How many layers of drums do you think there are in this song? It seems like there's maybe like 3 different layers of drums going on because there are just so much percussion. It's incredible. It's not overpowering. It's there and it just adds all of this wonderful atmosphere to the song.
Yeah, I love the percussion. It's so more energetic than almost anything at the time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just so fast and furious, right?
Yeah. It's great to have a drummer in the pop music field that brings that much power and that much energy to it.
Yeah, I agree.
Just gives it a great sound. And then John Taylor's bass works its way in.
Oh, yeah.
He always has a great sound. We always talk about when we hear him, we love that slap bass that he often plays.
Yeah.
But this isn't that slap bass.
No. This is a little more subdued.
And this is kind of like, I think he said early on they wanted to combine like the energy of the Sex Pistols with Chic.
Yep.
And he really loved Bernard Edwards.
Yes.
Bass playing in Chic. Maybe it's a little bit of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is a really great sound, particularly in the section of the song with the saxophone solo.
Yes, exactly.
When it's the sax and the bass together.
I know.
I love that part.
Yeah, we talk about the saxophone solo already. Andy Hamilton did a fantastic job. You can just sit and listen to that part, but underneath that sax part is this tremendous bass. I mean, he is just all over the place. He is a really, really talented bass player. And I think, again, he gets underrated because he's just so darn good looking.
Yeah.
I have a nice little excerpt from an interview he did with the AV Club where he says, "This is probably my favorite song from that era. Yes, because it's got a bass line that sort of made my reputation, I suppose." And he laughs. He says, "But I think that musically speaking, it's a very confident track. And for a band that people tend to be they think of us as quite commercial. And yes, it's got that kind of a hooky chorus, but the arrangement is rather unusual. It's a big, confident track. There's a lot going on. It shifts gears several times. And he says here, which I know we talked about Chic and Sex Pistols, but he says, we were thinking along the lines of I Want to Take You Higher by Sly and the Family Stone. It was a lot of everything, which we know now because it was put together with two different songs.
Yeah.
I think it could be the apex of the first phase of the band's career in a way, and all the iconography that came along with it as well. The video and the album cover were very powerful and really helped to give the band an identity.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And another thing that is so cool, we already talked about that one keyboard sound that's so recognizable. But as I was listening to this, I kind of felt a little guilty because throughout my entire life, I think I've overlooked Nick Rhodes really as a keyboard wizard or someone worthy of looking up to. You know, I've had Vince Clarke.
Oh, yeah.
I've had Howard Jones and the guys in Depeche.
Yeah.
And I've never put Nick Rhodes on the same level as them. But when I think about it, through all the years that Duran Duran's been making music and with Arcadia and some of those later albums, you know, Nick is a great keyboardist.
He is. I think in this song, and especially with the energy and the excitement of that arpeggiated chord, I think Vince Clarke would be happy to have something like this in one of his songs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I think he's right up there in this song.
Mm-hmm. So I got to give Mr. Nick Rhodes a little bit more synth love.
Okay.
Got to stop overlooking him.
Okay.
And you mentioned the name Andy Hamilton.
Yes.
Who played saxophone.
Yes.
If I can, I just want to talk about him for a second.
Absolutely.
Because it wasn't that long ago. It was probably less than a year ago actually it was more than a year ago. I think it was in our Tears for Fears episodes when I claimed that no song was ever improved by the presence of a saxophone.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, we
just keep coming back to bite you. Yeah.
It's been fun to have you keep pointing out to me songs that I like the saxophone in.
Right.
So I do like the saxophone in this song.
Good, because this made a list of the 12 awesome sax solos in an article by The Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that Mr. Andy Hamilton first worked with Duran Duran on the 12-inch single for Planet Earth.
Uh-huh.
And then got called on to do this. And he actually had a pretty good career with Duran Duran.
Right.
Over the years, he toured with them all throughout the 80s. And then again for their 2003 reunion tour. So he's played with them for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been a big part of their career.
He also toured with George Michael on the Faith Tour.
Yep.
And appeared, I think, on Listen Without Prejudice and some other things that he did.
Right.
And then just for our audience and for you, Sarah, he played on albums for the Pet Shop Boys, David Bowie, and Paul McCartney.
Yes.
And I was just going to tell you what albums and songs they were.
Please do.
For the Pet Shop Boys, he played on 2 tracks. I didn't write down which ones, but they were songs 6 and 9 of the album Bilingual.
Okay, well, one of them was Say Avida A.
No, that was song 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, hi, Sarah.
Hi there, Brian.
Hey, it's the next day. We finished the episode yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm editing it now.
Very good.
So I just was listening to the part where we talk about Andy Hamilton and the other albums that he played on.
Yes.
So we kind of discussed and sort of argued about, not really argued, but disagreed on what songs he was on the Pet Shop Boys Bilingual.
Yes.
So I said he was on track 6 and 9.
Right.
And you...
I said... I saw that he was on Say Avida A.
Right, which is track 5?
Yeah, I guess so.
So I just actually dug out the album and took a look at it.
Okay.
He was on all those songs.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All 5, 6, and 9.
Yep, so group hug, we were both right.
Oh, good.
Now let's get back to the show.
Okay.
For David Bowie, he appeared on the awesome song Wild as the Wind.
Oh, I love that song.
Beautiful song. And for Paul McCartney, he appeared on the Off the Ground album. Any album with the song Biker Like an Icon, I'm a big fan of.
Very cool.
So that's Mr. Andy Hamilton.
Yes. We've already talked a little about Simon Le Bon and his vocals. And let me tell you what, his vocals on this song are amazing. I really, really love how he sings this song.
Well, he's got to be a good singer. He had Andy, what's his name? From TV. I trained him how to sing.
Andy Wickett, yeah. No, I think 2 of my favorite parts in this song of his vocals are when he sings 2 of a Billion Stars. Mm-hmm. I love how he delivers that. And then the last verse when he starts off with, at the end of the drive, the lawmen arrive. You make me feel alive, alive, alive. I'll take my chance. That whole section there, that's just tremendous how he builds that up. The breathing he's doing during that to, still kind of keep it all together.
Right.
And how it just crescendos. It's really, really good.
He does sound fantastic on this song.
Yeah, he just punches it out there and it brings all the energy that the music is giving us. It just adds to it. It's really well done.
But we do get some of the whiny Simon stuff that we make fun of.
Yeah, there's a little bit of whining in there.
Parts that we sing in an exaggerated whine when it's on the radio.
Yeah.
But he does still sound great. When we're making fun of him, we're not really making fun of him.
No, we do it because we love him.
Yep. And speaking of Simon, I thought I would do something for this album. Each song, I wanted to just set aside a little section of my notes for lyrics only Simon would write.
Oh, good.
And then do that as we go through the album.
Yes.
So for this one, I had 3 lines that I thought only Simon would have written.
Okay.
Cherry ice cream smile.
Yep.
I suppose it's very nice.
Yes.
The line we already mentioned, which is great.
Uh-huh.
Probably one of the best lines on the album, actually. Second line that only Simon would have written.
Yeah.
It means so much to me, like a birthday or a pretty view.
Yeah. There's a good example of the wine, too.
Yes.
Or
right
a
there.
pretty view.
And then the last one, this one I wasn't as confident putting on the list, but I decided
Oh, just
I'm going to
throw
put
it
it on
in
here.
here.
And I might find her if I'm looking like I can.
Yeah. That almost doesn't make any sense. That almost is like, what? Wait, huh?
Yeah, but then I thought about it, and I guess he's saying, and I might find her if I look for her in the manner that I
am able to do.
capable of doing.
Yeah. Not like he's appearing that he's able to,
Right.
but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I took that.
Okay.
So those are my 3 Simon the Bon quality lyrics.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Okay.
let's move on to the video.
Yes, let's move on to the video. I'm excited to talk about the video.
This video is fantastic.
It really is.
It's really easy to think that this video is only them on the boat.
I know.
Because the only scene you ever see on TV, if
Right.
anytime someone talks about Duran Duran,
Yeah.
they'll show a clip, and it's when Simon's like kneeling really
Yeah.
close to the camera in the front.
It's all from the last verse where
Right.
he's on the very front of the boat, and and they're like in the water.
Yeah.
There's so much more to this video than that.
I know.
And I think because all we ever see is the little part of them on the boat in their suits and everything, everyone has this idea that it's very, sophisticated and, very fancy and whatever, because they're on a yacht and everything.
Yep.
But there's a lot of silliness in this video.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of silliness.
Oh my goodness.
Before we get to the video,
Yeah,
how did the video happen?
Oh, yes.
Simon, Nick, John, and Roger, everyone
Mm-hmm.
but Andy, decided to take a week's vacation to Antigua
Yes.
before they set off on their U.S. tour.
Right.
They just wanted a little bit of a vacation to get themselves rested up and ready to go. And they spent a week on the beach, seriously doing little more than laying on their towels and learning how to windsurf.
Yeah.
It was like a really great time. And they said after like a really short week, it seemed really short, we were actually getting ready to return, and our manager, Paul, called and said, "Stay there."
Oh, gee. Stay on the beach? Oh,
Yep.
all right.
Stay there. Andy and Russell McKahee are coming to you with a video crew, and you got to film a video for the song Rio. And they said, and if you have time, film a video for the song Night Boat from your first album. I'm not sure why they said that. I guess just put that in the can if you
why
needed
not?
it for a video collection or something.
There might be a good place to put a boat out there.
Maybe. They said, okay. So they hung out, waited till everyone got there. And that's why they got the opportunity to make this video, because they
Yeah.
just happened to be there, and everyone said, it would be a good idea since they're already there.
Yeah, they were told to.
And the one thing that I really love about this video is that instead of like their big, puffy, foppish, new romantic costumes that they wore on that first album with the headbands and
Yeah.
the weird hairdos and crazy belts outside of their shirts and
Yeah.
stuff, they're showing off once again the new look that you're going to
Yes.
see inside the album, these Anthony Price suits.
Yes.
Which, wearing a suit and tie may be a little bit out of place on a yacht, but they look great in the video.
Oh, they do. Yeah. And did I already mention that Anthony Price was a stylist for Roxy Music as well? He styled them for their first 8 albums. So their musical comparisons are not all they have in common.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So John says that the video became our most iconic video, making MTV's all-time top 10, but it was also perceived by many in Britain as an arrogant portrayal of the worst traits of Thatcherite self-interest.
Yeah.
It was controversial and polarizing.
Yeah. Which was very unfortunate because these guys, they weren't part of that crowd. They didn't grow up with silver spoons in their mouths. They grew up in Birmingham and they lived in these kind of like working class or middle class neighborhoods. I don't even know if they had really been on a nice vacation until they were in this band. So,
yeah, that's something that John says in the book, that they were excited to be at the point of their career where they didn't have to say, can we afford to take a vacation this
Right.
year? He actually says that.
So yeah, they had this image and they were trying to portray this image because it was cool, but it wasn't like they were really a part of that.
No, but I think that if you want to criticize them for that, it's valid simply because that's the image they're trying to
Well,
project.
yeah, right.
It's not like out of bounds to mention it because that really is what they're going for.
Well, sure. They want to look rich and successful.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This video, why is it a classic? Why is it that, everyone regards it so highly? Because it's a great video.
Yeah, it is. It's really well filmed, first of all. The actual cinematography and the photography of the video, it's very, very well done. There's only a few, in my opinion, really silly cuts and split screens and stuff that you see so much in the early 80s.
Right.
The stuff on the boat is very well done. I think it must be somewhat difficult to film on a moving yacht, but
You would think.
they did a great job.
It's no surprise that the video looks great in terms of filming because, like we said in our Queen episode, because Queen worked with the same director for Kind of Magic, this is the director of the movie Highlander.
Right.
Which I love Highlander.
Yeah.
If it's in the general public or a film critic, if they're going to say something nice about it, they're not going to compliment the story or the acting. They're going to compliment the direction and the editing of the film.
Yeah.
So he's a very visually striking director.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes through in this video.
Yeah. He knows how to put together very visually pleasing images and string them together very well. The other neat thing about this video, and I guess all of their videos from this album, they were shot in 35 millimeter.
Oh, really?
Which was very unusual for the time, but they did that with an end goal in mind because they did want to create this video compilation, this kind of video album, in which they put out later. So that was kind of different for the time. And of course, a little more expensive too, I think.
Yeah, it was. You mentioned those 80s transitions and the 80s effects on the screen.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of the Dr.
Yep.
and Hold Me Now videos by the Thompson Twins.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind the 80s effects in this Duran Duran video as much as I minded them in the
No,
Thompson
I
Twins.
think because there was so much action in this video, it sort of doesn't bother you because in Hold Me Now, Doctor, they're just kind of on a soundstage. And
it was actually just Hold Me Now. I shouldn't have said Doctor.
Okay, so in Hold Me Now, they're just on this set. They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And in this video in Rio, there are all kinds of action scenes, all kinds of different locations and things happening. So I think it almost fits better.
Yeah. I mean, even things like in Hold Me Now, for no reason at all, we talked about it in the show, they just draw a box on the screen that gets smaller and moves around.
Yeah.
They do that same thing here. There is a little box in the beginning.
That's right.
When
You're
they're
right.
taking pictures with the camera. But it makes sense because he's looking through a viewfinder of the camera. You could say that box is, what he's focusing in with the camera. So it actually works, even though it's a silly effect.
It is a silly effect, but it's that little round circle to focus in on something. I can think of something else that does that.
James Bond?
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
So this video, it's funny, it's sexy, it has good-looking people in it, it has gorgeous locales, it has beautiful boats.
Yes.
And in my opinion, if something is sexy, it's going to be sexy forever. Just because the fashions are early 80s fashions, I still think you get a really sexual vibe from this clip, both from the bikini beauties and the lovely lads in the band.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a very strong sexual energy in this video.
I think that's true.
And I think you still pick up on it today.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good observation. Not one too difficult to make, I'd say, but yes.
Now, as a sophisticated gentleman, this video keeps me interested by splattering gorgeous models with streams of paint.
Yeah.
Which, when you think about it, is sort of like a trick right out of like a heavy metal video or a hair metal video.
Yeah, you're
is
right.
really where I think that would come from. I would be surprised that it would be in a video like this. But it works in this pop video. I don't think it's...
No.
Like, when you watch that as a woman, is it like excessively degrading or anything?
It's just weird. I mean, I'm thinking way too practically, like, the one where she's like, her face is getting hit with paint. I'm like, I hope she has her eyes closed and her mouth closed and everything like that. That's what I thought of when I saw that happening. I wasn't like, oh, that's terrible. They're objectifying her. I mean, the fact that she's in that string bikini, that doesn't matter if they're throwing paint on her too. She's already in the string bikini. So, but it goes with what you said about Nick Rhodes, the splashes of color, or the very colorful and vibrant, or whatever he said.
He said it's a bright, colorful outburst.
Yeah, bright, colorful outburst. Well, I guess that colorful paint and all that stuff, it just kind of adds to it, just kind of emphasizes that.
Sure does. So I think my favorite part of this video happens pretty early, but sort of like most of the members of the band have little solo segments.
Yeah.
Like very short.
Almost like fantasy sequences. Yeah.
And there's a part where Roger Taylor this is kind of a James Bond throwback as well. I wondered all day long if I was going to go into a James Bond podcast segment here in this discussion, but I decided not to, just because I don't want to go off track because I'm so excited about this video.
Okay.
So
I wondered because I have a couple of James Bond references myself.
Yeah,
so
they're in here.
Yeah.
The guys in Duran Duran love James Bond.
Yeah.
But a girl walks out of the surf.
Yes.
Wearing a knife strapped to her leg, just like Honey Ryder does in Dr. No. She's not wearing a bikini like Honey
No,
Riders, but
hers
she has
is
that knife.
black, I think. So.
Yeah, and she's coming out of the ocean,
Yep.
just like, so you know what it's a reference to.
Oh, yeah.
Roger runs up to her, and just as he gets there, he gets this terrible
Yeah.
look at his face.
Yeah,
And
and-
the first time I was watching it, I was like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, why isn't he happy to see this gorgeous girl?
But then it's because a crab is pinching his toe.
Yeah,
So, So then he tries to get the crab off his toe,
Yeah.
and it gets stuck in his hand, and it's pinching his hand,
Yeah.
and he's in pain for that.
Yeah.
And she like rolls her eyes and
Yeah,
like
she's
karate kicks him.
And I think he like falls down into the water.
He does.
Yeah. She's just like, oh, brother.
It's so awesome. Though.
Yeah.
It's great because it's going to happen again in the next thing I want to talk about. But you get these guys who in half the video, they're wearing suits and trying to be
Yeah.
as cool as they can be.
Yeah.
But then here in these scenes, they're making fun of themselves
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and being goofballs. It shows, yeah, we're trying to be cool and trying to make you think we're sexy, but we're not taking it all that seriously.
Yes, exactly.
I like that a lot. There's also that cool part where Simon is, well, I say cool, it's really kind of silly.
Yeah.
Simon's talking to a girl on another boat on a telephone.
Well, first of all, she gets the telephone by someone in the water
Yep.
raising her hand up with a silver tray and a
Yep.
pink telephone. And she picks up the phone and calls Simon, who then picks up a blue phone because he's a boy on the other boat.
Right. And so then he sings to her for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she pulls on the telephone line,
Right.
which jerks him off the boat.
Somehow it's connected to his
Yep.
phone. Yeah, his boat, and he falls off the boat. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That,
great.
That was so funny. One other funny part I thought from this video was the, do you remember the colored cocktails?
Oh, that they're drinking underwater?
Yeah, they took
Yep.
they appeared on this tray. And then I don't even know who it was because he was in a scuba uniform or scuba outfit. And he took the drink underwater and started drinking it underwater.
Yep.
And it's like going everywhere.
The only gag I don't like is the one with Andy because it doesn't make sense. They set him up to slip on a banana peel, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, yes.
I always think it's hilarious when people slip on banana peels. And I think about it a lot because I now eat a banana every day.
Yeah.
And I talk about it at work and stuff. I always say that I'm going to leave the banana peel in the hallway and stuff like that. And so they have him set up to slip on it. He misses it with his foot.
Yeah.
He doesn't slip on it. And then a really fake looking giant like beach ball comes and knocks him down.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And the effects are really cheesy because it's the
Yeah.
80s.
Right.
So I didn't like that. Have him slip on the banana peel.
Yeah, that was weird
It's a time tested joke.
for sure. One thing I will mention, even though they look really cool most of the time in their suits, I had one problem with their fancy look.
All right, wait a second. I have it. I know what it's going to be. I have it written right here.
I bet you do.
Go ahead.
Simon.
Yes. Short sleeve t-shirt.
Short sleeved button down shirt with a tie.
Yep.
Homer Simpson.
Yep.
That's the Homer Simpson look.
Exactly.
Which of course this was before Homer Simpson, but I can't handle that look.
I was going to ask you, was that a thing in the 80s? Like, was that valid?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought
I've
maybe you
never
might
liked
remember.
it though.
No.
That's why my one problem with the styling on that video.
I concur.
Cool.
And another styling thing, I just want to say in that scene where John Taylor is faking that he's playing the saxophone,
Oh yeah.
he's wearing the exact same hat that Simon wore in Hungry Like the Wolf. It's the same fedora.
Is it really?
Yep. And he says that he then, after this video, kept the hat and wore it for like the whole tour. He kept that hat for about a year.
John did.
Yep.
Oh.
It belonged to the director, Russell. It was his
Oh,
hat.
wow. That hat went around a lot. I hope they like disinfected it and stuff.
And I just want to say that Rima Ruspoli, I
Okay.
think it would be pronounced, is the model with the body paint who comes on board the boat and gives that famous wink and smile. And I think she has a lovely smile.
Yeah.
And I could watch her wink and smile at me for quite some time if she wanted to.
All right. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I mean, she doesn't really look like the Nagel model, but I think you get the same kind of vibe from her and her smile as you do from the cover. Mm-hmm. I think that she was a very good choice.
So that is indeed a classic video, and I think it's probably one of the best videos we've talked about on our podcast.
Yeah,
I think easily
Yeah.
top 5.
I would say so.
We've talked about some good ones, talked about even more bad ones probably.
Yeah.
And this ranks pretty highly, I think.
I agree. Yeah, and it's stuff that, like I said, we forgot because we only ever see them on that boat.
Yeah, I know.
And there's other really good, entertaining, beautiful parts of this video. So
Yep, very true.
Go back and watch it. We'll have the links up so you can watch it.
Yeah, it's worth your time. Even if you think that you know it and
Yeah.
everything, it's cool to refresh your memory with it.
Yes.
So just to wrap up this discussion, I saw something from 2012. So the name of the yacht that Duran Duran were riding in the video was Eileen. It's spelled differently, so I have a lot of trouble figuring out how to pronounce it, but that's actually the name. And the yacht was built in 1936.
Wow.
And then years after the filming of this video, it kind of fell into disrepair.
Aw.
And it wasn't really seaworthy or anything.
Aw.
So probably around 2008 or so, an Italian watch company called Panerai bought it, and then they spent about 3 years restoring the craft, and they finished it in time to sail it in Antigua's Classic Yacht Regatta on April 24th, 2012.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool. An even cooler thing is that the watch company brought Duran Duran back to Antigua to have them pose on the boat before the race and to take part in all the festivities there for that regatta.
Oh, my gosh.
So I thought that was really neat. I saw some pictures of them in 2012, Simon, Nick, and Roger on the boat.
Okay, so that was like 30 years after the video was probably filmed.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
So it was a really cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. I bet Simon especially loved that as he's an avid sailor.
Right.
Very, very cool.
So, Sarah, that is the first track on the album.
Wow.
And guess what?
What?
People don't like it whenever we stop after one song.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to say that we're going to do it.
Okay. Well, then if we're going to do it before we really, really stop, we should do Sarah's secret song snippet.
Sarah's secret song snippet. Good thing you said that. All right. My phone has just enough power to do it.
Okay.
All right, Sarah. So last week, we got a winner right away.
Yes.
So let's see how it's going to be this week.
Yeah.
So don't forget, everybody, this is what you got to do. If you know what Sarah's song snippet is, you got to contact us on Facebook Messenger, Twitter direct message, or email.
Yeah.
And
send a separate message. Don't post it everywhere for everyone to see.
Yeah, and what do you want to know about the song?
I want to know what the name of the song is and the artist or group that is performing the song.
And what do you get if you do that?
You get to be Sarah's Secret Song Snippet Star of the Week.
There you go.
Oh, so it's hard to say.
This is your chance, guys. You want to be the first to reach out to us with the correct answer.
Yes.
Who and what.
Who and what. Here's
your snippet. All right, so let me play it for you one more time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so that's that. So we're looking forward to hearing from you and reading your guesses.
Yeah.
And we are looking forward to seeing you again next time as we're going to finish up our discussion of side one of this great album.
Right.
It's exciting that we finally started talking about it, Sarah.
I know. And
you promised it a long time ago and then just constantly roadblocked and shut down all our work on it. And now we're finally getting a chance to talk about it.
Right. Yeah, it was on me. And it's great that we're going to end up extending it for so long because people have been waiting for it for so long. Well, we're going to give them a lot to listen to.
Yeah. And that's right. With all the videos, the famous videos for this album,
right?
It's going to be great to have all the extra time too, the space that an extra episode allows.
There are videos for songs that weren't even singles, hint, hint. So there's a lot to talk about, and we will get to more of it next time.
That's right. So we hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy the show, feel free. Like we said in the beginning of the episode, we haven't had any reviews on iTunes from anywhere in the world since the last show. So that's sad because we didn't have anything to read. So if you'd like to go on there and give us a write-up what you think about the show, we'd appreciate it.
Yep.
I guess that's about it. I can't really bug you to do anything else.
Yeah, or just a rating, I guess, if you want to do that. That certainly does still help us.
Yeah. Oh, and the the last couple days of the Summer of Sharing.
That's right.
If you want to get in on that, take advantage of that.
That's right.
Because we're winding it down.
That's for sure.
All right, Sarah. Well, I had a great time talking about Duran Duran.
Yep, this has been great so far. I'm looking forward to joining you all next time for more discussion.
Yep, it should be good. So I hope everyone else can join us too.
Yes.
Well, I guess I'll talk to you later, Sarah.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Moving on the floor now.